guys, it's Christine, no kidding, right? I don't know if any of you saw it, but I recently did this video called Nerd Off in response to Charlie is So Cool Like. In it, I talked about various things that I think make me nerdy. One of those things being my great love for Twilight, all the extensive ways that I show my love for the Twilight series. I've been getting so much hate. If you like Twilight, you can't be a nerd. If you like Twilight, you have no taste in literature. You're so cliche, and not in a good way, in a bad way. What's wrong with you? I don't like you now because you like Twilight. If you like Twilight, you're just a dumb bimbo teenager. You make me sick that you're also a Harry Potter fan. You're allowed to be fans of more than one thing. It's not a war. Most people who like Twilight liked Harry Potter before Twilight. I don't have to defend myself, but I'm pretty argumentative. Why can't I say that word right now? Not that I like to yell at people, but if I think something is a different way than it is, and if it is a different way it is and someone doesn't see it, I feel the need to prove my point. I just feel like I have to say something because people are being ignorant and mean and prejudiced and not open to anything. The thing is, Twilight has such a bad reputation now for being dumb and terrible writing. The thing is, Twilight is a book that anyone can read, and you don't go into Twilight being like, this is going to be the greatest literature of all time. It's a story, and it's a story there to enjoy. I know it's not amazing literature, and it's not for everyone. You don't have to like Twilight. People like Twilight for a reason. There's a reason why it's the #1 New York Times bestseller. There's a reason why Stephanie Meyer is one of the biggest authors since J.K. Rowling. There's a reason for it, because these stories, the characters are relatable. It's easy to read. You develop a love for all these characters that she's created. When I read this, I'm not reading it like, oh, Bella doesn't like snow. I'm reading it like, I'm Bella, and I'm awesome. Like, I'm in the book. And before Twilight, I hadn't picked up a book being like, I want to read this book. I don't know. The only books I used to read was Harry Potter and Dan Brown's books, which are awesome as well. And I wasn't sure how to pick out the ones I liked. Then come one day, I'm walking around in Target, and I'm like, oh, I like the cover of that book. This is before Twilight was negative, before all the press about the movie, before all the bad press after the movie, all the critics. People liked Twilight because they liked the books, and no one judged them. It was like early 2008, where the movie was in the process of being made, but I didn't know about it. And I didn't know about it until after I finished the first book. But I did not look at anything because I didn't want anything to ruin the characters I had in my head. The movies aren't amazing films. They're for entertainment, and they're there for the people who read the books. When you're in the book, it's not the same. You have it in your own mindset, and you deliver it the way that you would like it to be delivered, if you know what I'm saying. After I read these books, I wanted to read more books. I wanted to read books, but I'd never actively gone out, looked for books that I would like. After this book, I looked at what Stephanie Meyer likes. I looked at what the other people, the podcast I was listening to, what they recommended. I read The Hunger Games. I love The Hunger Games. If I didn't read Twilight, I don't know if I would have known about The Hunger Games. The Mortal Instruments series, I got that because of Twilight. That's how I found out about that. And now, because of the books that Twilight has introduced me to, I'm immersed in this world of awesome books and awesome entertainment and awesome ways to stimulate creativity and everything. And it's just, I have Twilight to thank for that, and I'm sure a lot of other people do. Stephanie Meyer's writing is writing that anyone can understand. In that way, it makes it very relatable. People who don't read pick up Twilight and then they start reading. Olivia has never... Olivia, P.S. Olivia's my sister, has never ever picked up a book voluntarily and read it. Maybe she's tried to read things, but she's never gotten past like 2 pages because she gets bored. After Twilight, and after I've told her how awesome it is, and she sees the movie, she goes and picks up New Moon, starts reading it. She reads 130 pages in one day. She's never ever read that much in a short period of time in her life. And voluntarily too. She was enjoying herself, and she read the whole book and picked up the next book, and she read that. It's like a miracle. That never has happened. She's never voluntarily wanted to read a book, let alone after that picked up another book. This is what it does for so many people. So don't go judging people for liking Twilight. If you don't like it, okay, you don't like it. Why can't someone else like it? And just because something's popular doesn't mean it's bullshit. I hate it when people don't like something because it's popular. That's just so hypocritical. People like the thing that you like because it's good. There's a reason behind it. Just because the movies are bad doesn't mean you should hate, and I'm not saying I don't like the movies. Obviously, you've seen my reaction to movies. Just because something's popular and you like it a lot and you do go out of your way to go to conventions, you go out of your way to get t-shirts, you go out of your way to listen to podcasts and things like that, you can't be nerdy because it's popular. Nerdy is not bad connotation, just so people know. You're not a nerd, you can't join the club because you like Twilight. Twilight's not nerdy. Nerdy is being passionate about something to the point where you do all these things. Just Harry Potter, the Harry Potter thing was nerdy. What is the difference between liking Harry Potter and liking Twilight? There is no difference. You go to Harry Potter conventions, you get Harry Potter t-shirts, you go to the midnight showing for Harry Potter, you read the books over and over again, but oh, if you like Harry Potter, you're considered a nerd. Harry Potter is the most popular book series of the decade. Just because they're not as big right now doesn't mean that they weren't as big like 2 years ago. Harry Potter is more popular than Twilight. Just because teenagers like something doesn't mean it's bad. There's a reason they like it. Just because they like it doesn't mean you should yell at them for liking it. People are allowed to like what they want to like. Just shut up. I enjoy when people make fun of Twilight. Like Alex Day, Neriman's videos of Alex reads Twilight are freaking hysterical. And I think they're more hysterical to me because I read this book multiple times and I know like every single thing that he says about. I remember reading it, and just from someone else's point of view, how they're looking at it, I think it's hysterical. But when I read it, I was looking at it as being the person in the book. It's not like I'm reading it in a mocking way. You can go into anything in a mocking way and mock the things they say, especially Twilight because it's so simply written. But that's the beauty of it. It's so simply written that anyone can pick it up with an open mind and enjoy it. So I think that's all I have to say about this book. I wanted to ask you, why do you like Twilight, if you do like it? And if you don't like it, do you hate and judge people for liking it? It angers me. It's mean. It's just being mean. I don't hate on you for liking Star Wars. I hate Star Wars. But I understand people like it, and that's their prerogative. You don't think Twilight's a good book. I think Twilight's a good book. I think it's a gateway book to other books. It's not the best book ever, but it was a book that made a big difference in my life book-wise, and I think it has in a lot of people's lives book-wise. You don't have to judge people for appreciating something that changed their book world. Okay, so now that I've said my piece, like I was saying, why do you like Twilight, or why do you dislike, if you dislike it, are you mean to people for liking it? Because you really should stop. I listened to a podcast that talks for an hour and a half or more about the character discussions in Twilight, the themes in Twilight, how they relate to each other, how the characters' backstories. You can go on and on. They managed to talk about this in an intellectual fashion. You can bash it, but don't bash the people who like it, because there's a reason for it. So thank you for watching. I don't hate you if you don't like Twilight. You're allowed to not like it. So there's my defense. Do people judge you a lot for liking it? And I think you should tell them off if they do. Don't be mean to Twilighter people, and Twihards should be considered nerds. If you like Twilight to the extent that you like anything that makes you nerdy, you're a nerd. P.S. If you don't like Justin Bieber, you don't like Justin Bieber. But why does everyone hate him? Because teens like him? He's a singer. He sings good. Why is it bad to like him? Just don't mean to lecture, but, you know, some things, I just can't help it. Okay, thank you for watching. Regular book talk should be coming, I don't know, eventually. I'm in the middle of rereading Graceling, so when I'm done rereading that, I'll probably do a book talk on it, because I'll be fresh in my mind. Yes. You're awesome.